When it comes to getting the result that you are truly looking for in your life, when it comes to building the life that you really want, learning to build that trust within yourself is one of the most important factors that need to be considered here. Because if you don't have trust within yourself, if you can't trust yourself to follow through with your word, to do the things that you are saying you're gonna do, what's going to happen is you're going to lose trust. And if you don't have trust within yourself, first of all, you're not going to be able to create the life that you want. Second of all, people are going to have less trust in you. Because if you can't trust yourself, why would you expect somebody to trust you? People can feel that you don't have that trust in yourself, and you probably don't show up in a way in other people's life that proves to them that you're a trustworthy person, because you may not show up in your life. I'm not saying that's you, but if it sounds like it is, we're going to be talking about how to build that trust within yourself and how to feel like you're confident enough to move forward with what you say you're going to do. So, if you're new to this channel, what I want you to do is I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell, because I do post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. So, what's the first thing that we can do to build trust within ourselves? Well, the first thing I want you to understand is that regardless of what you're doing, it's important to set realistic goals. So the first step in this process is to set a goal. Set a goal of some kind and make sure that with whatever goal you set, whether it's daily meditation or to do something like going to the gym or whatever it is in your life, set that goal, but make sure that goal is 100% realistic. Because here's the problem. Most people set a goal that they kind of know they're not going to follow through with. And then when you set a goal that you know in the back of your mind you're probably not going to follow through with that, what happens is when you don't follow through, you're going to lose trust within yourself. It's like, hey, I'm going to do this every single day, and then you don't do it. Yeah, you're building a subconscious pattern where you are telling your own identity that you're not going to follow through with the things that you say you're going to do. So, for example, 5 years ago, when I told myself that I was going to meditate daily, I said I'm going to meditate every single day for at least 20 minutes. Now, I knew for a fact that 30, 40 minutes was probably going to be ridiculous. So I said, you know what, 20 minutes, that's sustainable. And I stuck with it for the last 5 years. When I was setting a goal to go to the gym, I said, hey, I'm going to go to the gym not every single day, because every single day seems completely unrealistic and I'm probably not going to follow through with that. So I actually set a goal to go to the gym 3 days a week. And so that's what I stuck with. And so the key is to understand that whatever goal you set, you want to be realistic about the goal that you set. Because if you're setting these unrealistic goals and you say you're going to follow through with something and then you don't follow through with something, you are going to start to lose trust within yourself. You're going to start to lose confidence in yourself, because every time you say you do something and you don't do it, you're going to fall into a pattern of perhaps guilting and shaming yourself. And so set a goal, but make sure it's realistic, because the key here is not to go hard for a short period of time. What we're looking for here to build that deep level of trust is long-term consistency. We all talk about it. We all know that to create something powerful in your life, it takes long-term consistency. We all know that. But yet, a majority of people on the planet do not follow through long-term with something that they want to create. We all know in the back of our minds, hey, if I just do this for a long enough period of time, it'll work. So why don't you do it? Because we don't trust ourselves. And I'm not saying that's you, but a lot of people do not trust themselves. So this is about removing the interpretation of living through life from having instant gratification and stepping into what we call delayed gratification, where you start to have a perspective that actually long-term consistency is the key to create your life, where maybe things start off a little bit slow, maybe they're not necessarily gonna start off in the way that you exactly want, but if you have that trust within yourself that over a long period of time that the result will start to come, whether in meditation or business, or maybe you want to start some sort of you want to be an artist, the long-term consistency and letting that energy compound over time really is the solution I found to create literally anything you want in your life. And that's going to start to build trust. So set a goal, make sure that it's realistic. Okay, now the second step is to follow through. Follow through with the goal. This might seem like an overly masculine way of looking at it in comparison to a lot of the videos that I've recorded where I talk about following intuition and following what feels good. But the truth is, if you really want to create something in your life, you have to follow through regardless of how you feel. Now, the truth is that when I say follow through regardless of how you feel, this is why you want to set a realistic goal where that structure that you set for yourself is something that feels good to you. So I'm not saying to create a structure and a goal that's going to create misery within you. The whole process is to feel good. I still don't think that this channel is changing. Follow your intuition always. Follow your higher self. But at the same time though, if you want to create something and build trust within yourself, you have to follow through regardless to how you feel. Building trust is not about, do I feel like doing it? It's like, okay, if you schedule a call with somebody, are you going to show up if you don't feel like it? No, you schedule the call, so show up so that they can trust you later on in the relationship. You want to follow through. If you're committing to yourself, follow through. So the key is to set that realistic goal and make sure that it's something that feels good to you so that you can honor the feminine aspect of life, which is that we all want to feel good, but then follow through. And it's interesting because I'm not even telling you to not feel good, and this is not even contradicting intuition, because actually what happens is when you follow through and you take action on something, regardless of how you feel, you usually start to feel a lot better. Meditation is like this every time. I've been meditating for 5 years, almost every single day. I missed like a couple days, like rarely. There was like one day that I missed in the last couple years, and I was like traveling or something. And guess what? I didn't feel that good because the meditation didn't give me the grounded energy that I get. Plus, there was a little bit of guilt and shame there, but I was okay with it because it was like one day that I missed. But other than that, it's been pretty much every single day. And so that has built up a lot of trust. But the reason I'm saying this is because when you start meditating, you don't feel like meditating. You don't really want to meditate. But if you can sit down and go through the process, you end up getting into a deep meditative state. And then by the so maybe at the beginning of the meditation, you didn't want to meditate at all. You didn't feel like doing it. But then around minute 15, minute 20, if you go deep enough and you have a good strategy and a good way of doing it that works for you, by the 15th or 20th minute, at least the way the practice that I do it, by the 15th or the 20th minute, you're not going to want to stop meditating because you're so deep in that meditative state. You're so in the flow that you don't even want to stop meditating anymore. Whereas before, you were like, oh, I don't want to meditate, I don't want to do this. And then by the 20th minute, you don't want to stop meditating. And this is how it works for pretty much anything. Meditation has taught me the truth that if we step into action, you can enter flow and then you start to feel good. Maybe I don't want to record this video, but I go through the motions and then right now, I don't even want to stop recording this video. The action becomes easy. This is what the flow state is. It's a perfect balance of structure and freedom, where you're right in the middle, but you're structured, you're doing what you have to do, but you're making it feel as good as you can in the process. A lot of people have reported experiencing this when they go hiking, for example. Maybe you're climbing that mountain, you're going up, you really don't want to go up that mountain, you're resisting the whole walk. But then as you're going up the mountain, maybe like a fourth of the way there, like halfway there, you start to get really into the walk and you start to really enjoy the process. Whereas when you started walking up the mountain, you didn't want to walk up the mountain. But then as you go up, you start to really get into that flow. You really start to enjoy the walk and you don't even want to stop walking anymore. You get into that flow. This is actually why I heard that advanced yogis do ridiculous mountain treks and they climb like 20-kilometer mountains or whatever. Like they walk 20 kilometers or whatever, because it's teaching us to be in that perfect balance of intention and surrender. You're taking the action, but you surrender to the process. And this is how you build trust. You follow through regardless of how you feel, and then the feeling comes later. This is what I believe the essence of meditation and yoga is really about. It's about finding that middle point of intention and surrender. Some people think that spirituality is about moving all the way into the feminine and completely surrendering. And although that might be true from one perspective, I have a different perspective where I believe that true quote-unquote spirituality is combining and honoring the humanness, the physical denseness of who we are, the tangible masculine side of who we are, that does have to take action in certain areas of our life. Doesn't have to, but it can be a lot more enjoyable to do that. I think that true quote-unquote spirituality is about honoring both the masculine and the feminine and being in what some cultures call the middle way. And you start to see that everything in life is a balance of intention and surrender. This video, my meditations, relationships, art, music, creating something, having a conversation. If you can balance masculine and feminine, follow through with what you say you're going to do, regardless of how you feel, and start to feel better after, you will start to build a massive trust within yourself. And you're going to start to feel really good about that. And you're going to start to feel like you can create anything that you want in your life because you stick to your word and you have commitments that you always follow through with. And when you don't follow through with it, you're not going to have trust. And the third final thing is to understand that, well, this is pretty much, I already said that, is to just take action regardless of how you feel. Take action regardless of how you feel. Follow through, but understand that how you feel in that moment doesn't necessarily matter. Now, if you feel really drained, if you feel really exhausted, maybe there's a time and place to take a step back and get your energy back, okay? To feel good again. But whatever you have to do to make sure that you follow through and take that action, then do it. If you start to feel like you can't keep up with the goal that you set for yourself, then switch the goal, make it less frequent. Like if you're meditating daily, then it's too much for you. Personally, meditation for me at the minimum is daily. But for you, if that's too much, well then switch it. Do once every 2 days and follow through with that. So take action regardless of how you feel. If you need to change the strategy and make it so that you can feel better, then by all means go for it. But once you do that, get right back into the flow. The key is to set a realistic goal and just follow through. I think meditation is a great way to teach us this, because actually what happens is meditation always teaches me how to balance my masculine and my feminine. It teaches me how to be focused on the task, which is usually your breath or some sort of focus point, but it teaches you to surrender to the flow of life simultaneously, which do not contradict each other. I think that they perfectly coincide with the human experience of balancing both aspects of life. And so if you can follow this process, which is very simple, this 3-step process that I shared with you here, you're going to start to build a massive trust within yourself. And guess what? As a bonus, when you start to trust yourself, start to notice how people trust you as well. Because when you start to follow through and you come off with that energy of knowing that you follow through, people will start to feel that off of you. And you're most likely going to show up for people in a way where they trust you. If you're the kind of person that meditates every single day, regardless of how you feel, you're also going to be the kind of person that shows up on time when you say you're going to show up on time. So, for example, when I'm talking to somebody that potentially might be coaching or something like that, if somebody or I am coaching somebody, and if somebody consistently doesn't show up on time, I can already know in their life that they're holding themselves back in a certain area. Because think about it like this: if somebody is not showing up to a coaching call consistently, I'm willing to bet a lot of money that they don't show up in their own life and their meditations and stuff like that. When you don't show up for other people, it's a reflection of how you carry yourself in your life. So actually, I can already know that that person needs to be coached through consistency, because if they're not showing up to the calls, that's the very thing they need to be coached on most likely. So actually, start to watch out for people as well. If people aren't showing up, they're probably not a trustworthy person, and they probably don't trust themselves either. So everything is connected. And I invite you to follow this 3-step process. And if you can follow this process, you will build so much trust within yourself. The longer that you follow through, the more that you trust yourself and the process and the universe and people. If you trust yourself, you can trust people. Like, you just build this trust in everything. And it's a very powerful place to live. And the longer you follow through, I'm not saying you can't switch your strategies as you go on if you have to, but then follow through with whatever strategy you choose in each moment. You'll start to build so much trust that you'll feel like you can create anything in your life. Like nothing can hold you back. You'll feel very confident, and that skill set and that trust is going to allow you to manifest your life in a very powerful way. So that's all I have for this video. Once again, if you want to work with me one-on-one personally, hit the link that's in the description box of this video to apply for a free consultation. As always, have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.